So if you remember, I said that our task for the end of this week was to write a diary entry telling the story of the point of view of Badger. And we've already done the work leading up to that, where we have looked at making a timeline of the story from Badger's point of view. And then yesterday, you had a look at a diary extract and we're trying to decide what do you think the features of a diary are. So today we're going to look at the features of a diary, and then you're going to have a go at doing your independent writing. Okay, so this is a diary extract you were sent yesterday, 21st of February. Oh dear diary, what an awful day. My chest is aching, my insides are churning, and these hunger pains are torturing me. What is a famished fox to do? I heard the name calling again yesterday. Those mean things that the hurtful humans like to say about me when they think that I can't hear, calling me big and bad. It's just not fair. I mean, big? I can't help being this size. And bad? Why? Aren't wolves supposed to hunt in the forest? Don't they know we're carnivores just trying to stay alive? So let's have a look at some of the features that we've got here. So to begin with, up here we've got 21st of February. Starts with a date. So the diary is telling you when it was written. That's really important so that you can sequence. If you had more than one diary entry, you could sequence it, that you know when it was written. Okay? In your diary entry that you're writing today, you can make that up. It doesn't have to be a date. You could just write the day of the week. And then we have, oh dear diary, we have some kind of introduction. So sometimes people give their diary a name. Sometimes they would just write dear diary. And the wolf here has started it. Oh dear diary, he's talking directly to his diary as if it were a person. What an awful day. My chest is aching. So here we've got the use of the pronoun my, and he also uses the pronoun I. So what would we call that? What kind of person is he writing in? Is it first person or third person? Have a think while I highlight the rest of these I's and my's. You have a think. Is it first person or third person? He's writing himself. So this is written in the first person using first person pronouns. My, I, me. Okay. It doesn't say they. It's talking about himself. A diary is your own reflection of your own experiences. Okay. So we've also got a bit of language here, which I want to talk about. My insides are churning and these hunger pains are torturing me. That's quite emotive language. Also here we've got hurtful humans. It's quite emotive language, emotional language. It's explaining how he's feeling. That's a good purpose of a diary, to share your thoughts and feelings. But it's also making the reader start to feel something for the wolf. You start to feel maybe a bit of sympathy, feel a bit sorry for him through that use of emotive language. Okay. Shall we have a look at another example and see if those features are common between the two? 21st of February, dearest diary. Oh my goodness, I've never been so frightened in all my life. Yesterday, I was actually eaten by a wolf. That's right, eaten. And I lived to tell the tale. Can you believe it? Me, Red, or Little Red, as everyone seems to want to say. It all started when Mother sent me on yet another one of her errands. Don't get me wrong, I do love to visit Granny, but is it really necessary to take baskets of food all the time? So, again, we've got the date here. Yeah. We've got our dearest diary. We've got a title, talking directly to the diary. Okay. We've got first person pronouns again. In all my life, I, me, okay, all the way through. Can you see that? And that's consistent all the way through. So she doesn't start talking in the first person and then change to the third person. She stays in the first person throughout. Okay. And we've got emotive language here. Oh my goodness. I've never been so frightened just talking about emotions and personal feelings. Also, the tone of this kind of writing is very different to the newspaper writing that we did last week. So, oh my goodness, I've never been so frightened in all my life. I was actually eaten by a wolf. That's right, eaten. Can you believe it? It's quite a conversational tone. So in a diary, it's more informal writing. It's not formal language. In a newspaper report, you would use much more formal language. In a diary, it's much more kind of the way that you would speak to somebody if you were having a conversation. That's much more informal language, and that's consistent all the way through. So that's another feature that you could include. So let's have a look at a list of features of a diary, okay? And these are the kind of things that I want you to include, and we can add to these. I'm going to make this slightly smaller because I think we could probably add one to the bottom. So include a date or time at the beginning so that we know when the diary has been written. Write it in the first person. Use the past tense for your main events because a diary is written after something has happened. Okay? It's you recalling what happened and how you felt when that happened. Include an introduction to set the scene. You've got to give some kind of detail along the way there so that whoever's reading it can follow kind of what happened to you. Everything that's written in your diary is told from your point of view. It's a personal point of view. You can give opinions. It doesn't have to be facts. You can give opinions in a diary. Tell events in chronological order. That means in the order that they happened. Don't jump about all over the place or it'll be really hard for people to follow. Include personal emotions and feelings, and then use time conjunctions and adverbials. And the last one I want to add to that is informal language. We talked about that kind of speech-like language, which is very different to newspaper article type writing. Okay, so these are the features of a diary entry. Now we're going to have a look at writing a diary based on the experiences of Badger. Okay, so now we've looked at the features of a diary, I'm ready to start having a go at writing my own diary about Badger. So I've got here on the floor in front of me my timeline that I wrote of the events that happened with Badger. So you need to have that with you while you're doing your writing today. You need to be able to refer to it so that you can make sure you tell all the events in the right order. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I've got that date added. So I don't know exactly which day it was that Badger would be writing this. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to make it up, okay? Tuesday, the 9th. I'm going to write May. Okay. Dear diary. That's my opening. Now remember, I want to write in the first person and I want to write in the past tense because I'm saying after all this has finished, okay? Now, if Badger's been through quite a lot and he was lost for 3 days and 3 nights, it's probable that he hasn't written in his diary for quite a while. So he's probably going to be quite relieved to be able to have an opportunity to sit down and fill in his diary. And remember, we want that conversational, informal language, okay? So I'm going to start with for you. What a crazy week I've had. Now here I've got I've, that's first person pronoun, okay? What a crazy week I've had. I'm going to look at my first event here on my timeline, which says Badger and family get trapped under the hill. So I'm going to write about that. It all started remember, I want to tell the events in the right order and I'm using the past tense. I'm looking back at it. It all started when we got trapped under the hill. Now, people who write in a diary often use that diary to kind of capture things that have happened to them. And then much later on, they go back and revisit and reread what they'd written in their diary entry to kind of try and remember what happened. So that's a really good thing to do, to make sure that we include lots of detail in our writing, so that when Badger were to look back and read his writing again, maybe months or even years later, it would help him to remember. It all started when we got trapped under the hill. Now, does Badger want to explain maybe why they were trapped under the hill? Because it could be that much later down the line, he doesn't even remember. It was all Fox's fault. Oh, fault. Now, was he cross with Fox? He was, wasn't he? He was quite cross with Fox because then they got trapped and they all started starving, and he was really angry when he first met Fox, wasn't he? Let's go back to the beginning, and I'm just going to check for those features that we were talking about and see how I'm getting on with including them. So I've got my date, Tuesday 9th of May. I've got my starter, Dear Diary. For you, what a crazy week I've had. I've got my first person pronoun, and I've got quite a conversational tone there. It's quite informal language. It all started when we got trapped under the hill. It was all Fox's fault, okay? Now, when you're doing your writing, I don't want you to underline the features here. I've just done that to highlight them for you. I just want you to try and do your best piece of writing, okay? Now, remember, once you've written your diary entry, you need to go back and you need to proofread it and edit it to check for spelling mistakes, missing words, check for any words that you think you could improve upon. Could you find a better way of explaining that? Are there any other bits of language that you could add in to maybe upscale and improve your writing? The key thing is that you include all those features of a diary and that you include all the events that were on your timeline in the right order. Okay, and remember, you are being Mr. Badger. You're telling the events from Badger's point of view. It's a diary. It doesn't all have to be absolutely factual. You're giving Badger's opinion, his emotions, his feelings, and his thoughts through your diary, okay? Can't wait to read them. Good luck.